1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 451, Astros and Giants.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 71-74 Carryover League. We are back in the postseason tournament, and we are in the National League West. Let's see what we are cooking up for you this evening in the National League West in the tournament. So Houston in the 7-game battle. And I like to look at this as like the, this really is the pennant race. I call it the postseason tournament, but really, I should have just renamed it the pennant race, because you had all those games. They led up to the All-Star break. They're just games, and everything's a best of. I understand that. Different format than traditional baseball, unbalanced schedule, half games backed. But now there's an actual calculus of what teams need to get into first or second place. And we actually can quantify finally what they need. So it's very reminiscent of late September baseball. And that's why I came up with this concept. Like, imagine like after the All-Star break, all of baseball plays 500. They play 500 all the way to the last couple weeks of September when things get really heated up, and it's like the last 7 games of the season. You can look at it. It's up to 7 games to distinguish this, but think of it as say this was the last 7 games of the season, if that makes it more translatable as an idea. So Houston is in first, and the Giants are 2.5 games back. There's 7 games left. The Giants do have a head-to-head tiebreaker +2 if we need that. But with 7 games left, the calculus is the Giants need to win 5 of 7. So, I mean, this is typical what happens in baseball when they say a team, what does a team need to do? Emphasis need. The Giants need to win 5 out of 7. Even though they've got a +2 head-to-head already with the Giants, just winning a best of 7 is not good enough. They need to win 5 out of 7. So let's see how their attempt is gone. Opening up in San Francisco, it doesn't get any better. Houston's traditional best, Larry Dierker. The Giants' traditional best, Juan Marichal. Nobody scores. Nobody scores. Game's over. Scoreless. No. You have to play till somebody scores. That's right. Both guys can't pitch into extra innings. So Dierker has 8 hits through a scoreless 9. Marichal 4 hits through a scoreless 9. 3 up and 3 down off of Steve Hamilton in the 10th. Bottom of the 10th, after a couple outs, Bobby Bonds walks, steals a base, and then Ed Goodson gets the bloop single to win the game. 1-0 for the Giants. Needing to win 5 of 7, step 1, check. Check the box off on that one. Game 2, holding home field. Can they do it? Final score 6-3. They do. The Giants get a lot of singles in the first half of this game off of Ken Forsch, who gave up 10 hits in 7 innings. They get 5 runs. Houston threatens in the 6th. 2-run homer by Doug Rader in this one. They don't get any closer, and the Giants do what you would expect them to do, winning those first 2 games in a must-win situation if they want to, win the division. Astros a little lackadaisical, not knowing, their margin of error, I guess. So now we go to Houston for a game 3. So the Houston's going to respond, I think, right? Well, it's Jim Barr versus Gary Peters. And frankly, Gary Peters has had a rough year, and it continued, folks. Double, single, walk, single, single in the first is 3 runs. RBI single in the 5th, he's pulled. Astros get some runs. RBI single by Cruz. An error by shortstop Chris Spire led to 2 unearned runs here. This thing goes to the bottom of the 9th inning. Jim Barr is going for a complete game with 2 outs and nobody on base. Jim wins solo shot to tie it at 4. Sent it in extras. Didn't matter because in the top of extras, after a walk, Bobby Bonds hits a 2-run homer. 6-4 Giants. Steve Hamilton comes in to get to close this thing out and get a save. And it's a 6-4 victory for the Giants. They have won the first 3 games. Now they only have to split the last 4. The first two of which are in Houston. Game 4. So Houston is in a horrible slump. Their hitting's been awful. It's Bill Parsons versus Bob Johnson. So for the first 4 innings, the Astros continue to stink up the joint with just 2 hits. Then they went into the dugout and somebody said something to somebody and there were some punches thrown or something like that. But the next thing you know, the Astros come out and score 16 runs in the next 3 innings. More than quadruple their output for the first 3 games. 16-1 final. The Astros beat up a Giants team that kept waving the towel after winning the first 3. You know, this is what happens. You know, you've won 3 straight, and the other team beats you 16-1, and they think they're great. And the Giants are like, dude, we've just beat you 3 out of 4. What are you celebrating? You might want to save some of those 16 runs. Let's go to Game 5. Doesn't really matter in Game 5 because you've got Marichal and Durker on short rest again. And unfortunately, there's some bad defense that screws up this brilliant matchup. In the first inning, Joe Morgan steals a base. The catcher throws the ball into center field, an unearned run. Bottom of the 4th, a walk, a fly out, and then a error on third baseman Ed Goodson, and then a double play ground ball to Tito Fuentes is turned into a single. He's a 2-6 second baseman. It's a single. So they got 3 garbage runs off of Marichal. Durker gives up a couple runs on singles into third. And that's your ball game. So it's still a low-scoring game from Durker and Marichal. It's just some inglorious ways of scoring those runs. So Durker gets the split versus Marichal, and the Astros do indeed get 2 wins. They need 1 more. So the Giants are leading this series 3-2, but they have to win it 5-2. So we are going to play a Game 6 in San Francisco tonight. And it's not looking good for the Astros because Gary Peters has to come back on 3 days rest. Let's take a look at Gary Peters. He was a Red Sox in 71, 14-11 with a 4.37 ERA in 214 innings. Gets the lefties out still, but the righties really knock him around. And that's what the Giants are trying to do here to keep their hopes of this division afloat. Meanwhile, you got Ron Bryant for the 72 Giants at a 2.90 ERA. Gary Peters, Ron Bryant in a Game 6 in San Francisco. Let's get started. Leading off from your Stros is Joe Morgan. 56 is a K. Batting second. So Dennis Menke had been on the bench as a reserve player. After losing the first 3 games, they decided to put him in the number 2 spot because of all of the walks on his card. High on base. They won both those games. So this is the new addition to the Astros, Dennis Menke. 311 flies to right. And Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon, rolls to short. Bottom of 1, Bobby Bonds, 67 lines to short. Chris Beer, 33, short. And Jesus Alou grounds to short. Top of 2, it's Bob Watson, 58, short X. Well, it's a good thing we got some good shortstops today because a lot of balls are being hit there. Roger Metzger and Chris Beyer. That's an out. Cedeno, 36, is a walk. He's going to take off. Giants have really bad catchers. That's a safe steal. And the T rating of Dick Dietz is 1-20. I mean, come on, guy. What are you doing, shot putting that ball over to second base? So it's a stolen base and a ball that ends up in the center field. Now I got to bring the infield up with Cedeno at third. Doug Rader. 1-5 short. Runner holds with the infield up, and Jose Cruz walks. On the corners for Dick Billings, he lines the second. No damage after the goof-all error. Dick Dietz, 1-9, Ks. Willie McCovey, 6'11", first X. This is Menke at 2E22. Makes the play. Gary Matthews, 56, short X. 1E14, Mr. Metzger. Yeah. A lot of action to the shortstop today for some reason. We go to the third. Here is shortstop Roger Metzger. 65, double 1/15 is a 2-base hit. That was a mistake. Doesn't have a 2-base hit on his card. Had 11 of them in a full season. That is ridiculous. If you're wondering, Roger Metzger in 73, in 620 plate appearances, had 14 triples and 11 doubles. That defies logic there, folks. Runner at second for Joe Morgan. 111 lines to first. Runner at second for Menke. Pops to first. And Jim Wynn, 1-7 walks. On the corners for Watson. 2-7. Let's take a look at Bob Watson. 1973, a 312, 16 homer, 85 walk card. Not very good defensively. He gets to play DH in this system. And that is a single to left. And Metzger will try and score off of the Matthews arm. And he's in there on an 8. And the Astros are technically 21 outs away from remaining in first place. Cedeno, 4-4, center X, but it's Bonds, a 1E2 in center. Bottom of the third. Tito Fuentes, 1-6, pops to first. Fran Healy, 69, a double off of the Peters card, who had started so nicely there. Bobby Heiss. There's Heiss's card. You gotta put it somewhere. There it is. 3-6 is short. Runner at second with 2 outs. And it's Bobby Bonds. 35 is a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for Chris Spire. 312 is a Lomax. Giants won the first 3 and have stumbled the last 2 and are in danger of stumbling out of this again. Saw the same thing. If you watched yesterday's game, you saw the same thing where Arizona rips off 3 straight wins and then just the air just comes out of their balloon. And the balloon's looking rather saggy for the Giants here. Into the fourth we go. It's Doug Rader. 310 flies left. Jose Cruz walks. C. Steeler. He's not going to go. Dick Billings, 2-8. Oh, should have gone because that's a 6-4-3 double play. Bottom half of the fourth. Jesus Alou, 5-10. Off the Peters card. Triple 1-6. Gets it. He's on third. I'll bring it up for Dick Dietz. 59, homer, 1-18. If you have power, Dietz has plenty. It is gone. And, well, the Gary Peters had a good beginning, but now it's getting rocky here in the fourth. Willie McCovey, 3-5. Let's take a look at McCovey's card for the 73 Giants. 29 bombs. Just when we thought he was washed up after a kind of ordinary 71 and 72, he comes back with a brilliant 73. And that is gone, and it is 3-1. Gary Matthews, 67, lines are short. Tito Fuente, 45, second. And with 2 outs, it's Fran Healy. Flies to right field. We go to the fifth. 3-1 game. Roger Metzger, 36 single for the C Steeler. Joe Morgan, having a kind of a bad year, but he's still property of the Astros, and he wants to, help this team before the inevitable off-season move to Cincinnati. 69 is a walk. 2 on for Menke. 2-9, 6, 4, 3, double play. Well, that didn't work. And Jim wins, 67, single 1-5, lines out. Bryant stiffens up there. Has put some guys on today, but only 1 has scored, and he leads 3-1. He's a superior pitcher to Peters, yet it's a tight game. Bobby Heiss, 6-10, double 1-5, base hit. Peters did not make it through the 5th inning, or he did. He went 5 innings last time out. Bobby Bonds, 46, single 1, lines out. Chris Spear, 1-8. There he goes, a base hit in the center. Heiss will not take on the Cedeno arm there. So we'll stay first and second with 1 out for JLU. 4-11. Short X. Oh, it's Metzger. This should be a double play, and it is. Well, Gary Peters, meet Roger Metzger. He has put the butter on your bread today, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ground ball outs and a double play to Roger Metzger for Gary Peters. It's 3-1 Giants. Into the 6th we go. Bob Watson. 66 is a base hit. Your tie run is all-star center fielder Cesar Cedeno. 35, single 118, gets it. 2-on for Doug Rader. 2-9, let's take a look at this guy. Doug Rader, 1972, had 22 homers, but he only hit 237. Has not been an everyday player. They've picked and choose matchups when they've wanted to use him. As you can see against lefties, his batting average, he's got a lot of outs there, and this is one of them. 2-9 is triple, 1-3, fly ball the rest, and so that's just fly ball the rest. That should be a hit on that template, and it's not. Jose Cruz, 59, short X. This should be a double play ball to Chris Spire, and it is. The Astros do not score. They waste an opportunity. Bottom of the 6th, Gary Peters. I think, they don't need to win this game. They'll let Peters go. They've quick hooked him so much. He's actually not pitching too terribly. Let him go for the 6th inning and see what happens. Dick Dietz. What could possibly go wrong? 4-9 is a single. William McCovey, 69, single 1-4, lines out. Gary Matthews, 47, single ... They're on the corners for Fuentes. A Bunner. I mean, come on. Somebody come out of the bullpen. Get this guy out of there. That'll do it. Yeah, they're still not conceding this game. They're going to bring the infield up, take this guy out of here. Let's go with Jim Ray. Very good reliever. Trying to keep this thing close. Runners in the corners, 1 out. Infield up, Tito Fuentes. The pitch. 68 off a raise, a liner to 3rd. And with 2 outs is Fran Haley. 2-5, let's take a look. Fran Haley, 71 card. He hit 280 as a utility catcher. Nice little utility catcher there. 2-5 is double 1-7. That's an RBI single. We got a 4-1 game. Bobby Heiss, 39 grounds to 3rd. We could bring in some defense. Let's put Rich Reese in there at first base. Put Howarth in the outfield. Let's try and protect this lead here with some defense. 4-1 into the 7th we go. Ron Bryant, Stick Billings leading off. 2-7's a single. Roger Metzger, 2-6 is a K. Joe Morgan, he is 0 for 2 plus a walk. 38 is a sky to center field. And Dennis Mankey, I talked this guy up and he's gone 0 for 4. And he might just lose his spot with a Game 7 on the horizon. 4-1, stretch time here in San Francisco. We are enjoying Listen My Friends, Moby Grape compilation. Kind of a best of Moby Grape thing going on. Bay Area, San Francisco. A little earlier in the timeline. I think this is like 69, 67, something like that. But anyway, the Giants are still listening to that sort of thing, I guess. Into the bottom of 7 in San Francisco in a 4-1 game. Jim Ray will go another inning. It'll be Bobby Bonds. 4-10 pops to first. Chris Beer, 1-4, flies to center. And with 2 outs, it's Jim Howarth. 67 is a liner to short. All right. Bryant will continue into the 8th inning with a 4-1 lead. Charlie Williams, Mike Caldwell are warming. Jim Wen, 6-11, first X. This is the new first baseman, Reese, a 2-7, makes the play. Bob Watson, 56, second X. This is Fuentes, a 2-6. Who had that bad break in the Houston in the game, previous game. And Cedeno, 2-11, lines to second base. Bottom of the 8th, we'll pull Ray, save his arm so he can come back for a little bit of action in Game 7 if needed. We'll go Mike Cosgrove. Pokemon in the 8th. It'll be Dick Dietz. 37, Homer 1-2, fly ball, and it's a fly ball. McCovey 1-5 is a walk. Let's see. Gary Matthews 1-4, center. And Fuentes 68, single 1-2, gets it. Cheap single 1-2, and he hit it. 2 on, 2 outs for Rich Reese, 6'11", first X. Mankey's a 2E22 at first, and he makes the play. All right, buckle up here in the 9th inning. Giants want to force a game 7, winning, and want to win 4 out of the first 6 games. Also want to win 8 of 12. 8-4 the Giants would be this year against the Astros, and still need more. That's because the Giants goofed this all up because they got swept by the Dodgers in the previous series. Astros stunk up the joint against Cleveland, but then they got to beat up on the Padres. Dodgers got swept a few times, but then they just swept the Giants. So National League West, you might as well get Anton Chigurh out there and call it. All right, call the toss. In the 9th we go. Ron Bryant. We're going to be proactive and just take him out after 8 because he's put a lot of men on today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to go to Charlie Williams. Really like this guy. In the 9th inning with Steve Hamilton if needed. It'll be Doug Rader, and he'll swing away. To 11 is a walk. Now you got Jose Cruz. 57 is another walk, and this is not setting up well at all. You kind of can't bring your lefties in off the bench, not as if you really want to anyway, because that means Hamilton comes in. Dick Billings will swing away. 67 is single 1 of 18, and he loads the bases. And Charlie Williams comes in with his can of kerosene to ruin the Giant season. Now you got switch hitter Metzger, the lefty Morgan. Oh, let's screw this up some more. Let's get this clown out of here. See how bad the Giants can butcher this. Let's bring Steve Hamilton in now. One closer blows it, bring another closer in to finish the job. Steve Hamilton will come on now. 2-2 with a 3 ERA and 71. And just 45 innings for the Giants. Comes into the bases loaded, nobody out. No problem, Steve. No problem whatsoever. They're going to have to bring it up because you got an 8-bunter, which is a real shame. You can still get a 6-2-3 double play here. Roger Metzger, the infield up. Here's the pitch. 2-12, and you hit him. Hit by the pitch. That is a hit by the pitch. Oh boy, it is now 4-2. Well, Joe Morgan's left-handed. You can almost pinch hit for this guy, for Morgan too. It seems crazy to say, but with Danny Cater, let's do it. Let's just do it. Morgan can't believe it. You got to remember, this is Houston Joe Morgan. He's a 256 hitter, so the statute of limitations of not pinch hitting for Joe Morgan do not apply until he puts that big red C on his hat and is a member of the Big Red Machine. So let's take a look at Danny Cater, and you'll see why. Yeah, Cater's coming in here to win the damn game. Bases loaded, nobody out in a 4-2 affair. They're going to play it back now, because with a 2-run lead, you can still concede a run if you get a double play grounder. So they'll play back for Danny Cater. 3-10, fly ball to left be question mark for Jose Cruz. I don't see, I would not run, and they're not going to. They're not going to run, as that run getting thrown out of the plate doesn't help whatsoever. Just the fly ball to left. Bases are still loaded with 1 out. However, well, the double play was always in order anyway, whether he ran from third or not. The only scenario would have been if they brought the infield up. You still have a runner at third, but they're going to play back here for Dennis Mankey. 65 of Hamilton, fly ball to right C. So it's a shallow fly ball to right, and now it's Jim Wynn. Bases loaded walk would cut this lead to 1. Let's take a look at Jim Wynn with 2 outs in the 9th in a 4-2 game. Jimmy Wynn had 108 walks and 32 homers in 74. He was a Dodger then. And maybe the Astros should, do what I do and just hold on to these guys. Hold on to Morgan and Wynn and see how long, and Cedeno, and see how long that team would be successful. Anyway, bases loaded, 2 outs in a 4-2 game. The pitch to Jim Wynn. 2-8 for Jim Wynn. Oh yeah, this is going to leave a mark. Triple, 1-2, single, ... That is your 2-run single and another blown save by the Giant bullpen. My goodness, 4-4. Runners in the corners with 2 outs now. And the batter is Bob Watson. 58 flies to center field. Well, Astros now tie the game. Cosgrove will continue in the bottom of the 9th and face Bobby Heiss. Menke, you need a second baseman. Menke can play second base and Cater can play first base. There you go. So Morgan was a 2-12, Menke's a 3-27, and Cater, the pinch hitter, plays first base where Menke was playing. Doug Rader doesn't move. Bottom of the 9th, Cosgrove continues against Bobby Heiss. 33, pitcher. Bobby Bonds, 5-10 off Cosgrove. Triple, 1-7, double. It's a 2-base hit. Runner at second for Chris Spire. 59, and there it is. It's a double off of Cosgrove's card anyway. And some more shoddy relief pitching, and the Giants win anyway. My goodness, folks. So Cosgrove blows it in the bottom of the 9th after a couple of Giant pitchers blow in the top of the 9th. Giants win 5-4 to force a Game 7. Yep, National League West, I'm not impressed with anybody, folks. Charlie Williams came in, did nothing, gave up 1 hit, 3 runs, and 2 walks. Steve Hamilton gave up a hit and a walk. Ron Bryant's 8 solid innings are wasted with a no decision. Hamilton gets a win. Ron Bryant gave up 6 hits and a run, 5 walks and 2 strikeouts. Cosgrove takes the loss. 2 hits and a run in the 9th, then a hit and a walk in the 8th. Jim Ray, inning and 2/3, gave up a hit. Gary Peters, he did okay. He did give up the 4 runs though. 8 hits and 4 runs were earned. Just a walk and a strikeout. 1-0-9, 0-1-0, 8 1/3. 5-12-4-8. 5-12-4-8. 8-2, 2-1, 2-1, 8-2. That's the 6th game that's in the books. This was the regular season. That would have been a replay of what happened the first time the teams met when the Giants beat the Astros 4-2. They've done it again. They just need to have a tiebreaker. We'll show you the overall standings and how the West was lost instead of how the West was won. Giants are 17-15, hitting .243 with a 3.48 ERA. Spire was their lone all-star just because he played shortstop. He's hitting like .250. McCovey's got 5 homer and 16 RBI, which is pretty ordinary. Yeah. Not much else to talk about the Giants. Astros, on the other hand, 18-15, hitting .246, 3.64 ERA. Larry Dierker's 7-3. Was snubbed for the All-Star game. Probably should have gone. Cedeno and Jim Wynn are having nice years, though. Jim Wynn's got 11 homer and 31 RBI. It's a heck of a nice year. Cedeno, 9 homers, 25 RBI, 14 stolen bases, and 41 hits. Nice year for Cedeno. Joe Morgan's having a dreadful season. Joe Morgan is 23 for 125. If Joe Morgan was hitting 184 for you, wouldn't you think of trading him to like Cincinnati in the offseason? That might be on the agenda. Anyway, here we are as we speak with 1 more game to play. You see what the Giants have done. They've cut it all the way to a tiebreaker. One more game to distinguish these teams between first and second place. It doesn't clinch anything now. All we do in this round is distinguish first and second and third and fourth. That's all we're doing. So even if the Giants were to lose this game, they still have wild card hopes on the horizon in a very low winning percentage National League. It does look like, since both teams have been competitive here, that the Dodger-Padre will be an elimination, because there's no way that both the Dodgers and the Padres can play enough games where both will have a record of at least 2 games over 500, which is where the second place team will be regardless of who wins Game 7. So that's how you measure if a second place team falls all the way to last place and both the third and fourth place teams advance. That won't happen in this division. There's too much of a gap between these two guys and these two guys. So that's it. We'll show you Game 7 at the end of this. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game. 6 you saw the Giants walking this off with an RBI double by Spire. With a 4-2 series lead, they need to get one more win. Can they do it in a Game 7? Well, it wouldn't be without a lot of drama, folks. Let's go check it out. Game 7, Ken Forsch against Jim Barr. That's a heck of a matchup, by the way. Both guys on the top of their game. Scoreless into the 5th. By the way, before we even get into the scoring, a little change in the Astro lineup. Slumping Joe Morgan on the bench. Benched for a Game 7 for the Astros. I think the front office might be making a move in the offseason. So, in the 5th inning, Dennis Menke is leading off for the Astros and playing second base. Roger Metzger with 1 out singles. Then back up top to Dennis Menke. He hits a double, and Metzger runs off of the Gary Matthews arm. It's 1-0. Menke's the hero, replacing Morgan. Then in the 7th inning, Jose Cruz hits a homer. It's 2-0 Astros. A strikeout, a walk, and then Menke, this time he rolls ground ball short plus injury. So guess who has to finish the game at second base? You guessed it, Joe Morgan. So it's 2-0 now. Into the bottom of the 8th we go. Ken Forsch sailing along with a shutout. But in the 8th he runs into problems. A single by Matthews, a walk by Fuentes, and they proactively go to their closer, Frank Lindsay, who's having an outstanding year with 7 saves. Seeing if he can get a 6-out save. It doesn't go well. He gives up a double to Ed Goodson to make it 2-1 with runners at second and third. Then you get a catcher's X error on a catcher, of all things, to tie the thing, putting runners on the corners. You get a play at the plate, a 5-2 force out the plate, putting first and second with 1 out. But then Chris Spire gets a single, and Fran Healy gets a single. And the Giants bat around in the 8th inning after this error leads to these unearned runs. In the 9th inning, you get a strikeout to Cruz, a fly out by Billings. Roger Metzger doubles with 2 outs. The tie run comes to the plate. Who do you think it is? It's not Dennis Menke. He got hurt. It's his replacement, Joe Morgan. He comes in to the batter's box as the tie run against Steve Hamilton, who strikes out. So Morgan strikes out in his final at-bat. Not of the season, but at least at the moment, it seems like you've got a very unhappy baseball player in Houston who wants out. And this is where we are at. The Giants are tag, you're it. You're the latest team, the latest contestant for first place in the National League West. You've got a half-game lead over the Astros. Dodgers, Padres can't catch second place. They'll have to play for third place. I guess the Dodgers could catch the Astros for second place if they sweep the Pods. But that's the current standings in the West. The Giants and the Astros flip-flop. Still a lot of baseball left in the postseason tournament. One of these teams could win the division. One of these teams could be eliminated altogether. That's it tonight. Thanks for checking out the postseason tourney. We'll see you next time.